RES INDICA.
Hello everyone. Welcome to RES INDICA IAS Academy, India's only design-based learning platform for the civil services aspirant. Desh Badla, Padhai Badle. We are present here to discuss the news analysis of 14th of June 2023. And I have collated some important news and news articles from the Hindu and the Indian Express. And I have tried to make important mind maps out of them. I have also added the newspaper clippings from where I have sourced this data and have added to the PDF for your perusal. Okay, now coming back to the work at hand. First of all, we will discuss some world news. Okay, now the first news is India and the USA, they have sought to diversify the semiconductor supply chain. This is being said by the Sullivan. Who is he? He is the USA NSA who is on his India visit. He has also said that USA and India to lead the clean energy transformation because the modern age is tending to go away from the fossil fuel consumption, and for the climate change development, clean energy is the only solution. They have sought to diversify the global semiconductor supply chain and supply chain in the other critical goods, which is as of now heavily reliant on China. This can also be seen as a tool to counter the Chinese implications. The Indian National Security Advisor said that India has established a strategic trade dialogue, and that platform will be used to address regulatory barriers and issues relating to export control. Now, the second news is that Blinken says economic ties is the center of India-US partnership. Why? Because both the countries, they are shaping innovation and the artificial intelligence, including quantum computing. Addressing the annual Indian Idea Summit of the USA Business Council, the USSOS, which is US Secretary of State, he has also said that last year the trade between the two countries reached historic high of $191 billion, which is no small feat. In this, Indian companies invested in US over 40 billion, which means the Indian enterprises, they have invested in the US companies worth rupees 40 billion. And the investment was in the IT and the pharmaceutical sector. US became the largest trading partner of India in the last year, surpassing China. The last news is UN needs to be more democratic and representative, says Rajnath Singh. Why? Because the need is to invest more in training, technology, resources for the safety and the productivity. India is not the permanent member of UNSC, and the G4, they are working very hard to get the inclusion into the permanent membership. Okay, now the legitimacy of the United Nations is undermined because United Nations is still showing the kind of the, if I can say, equation which used to have in after World War II. But the world of today is very different from the world of World War II in 1945. Therefore, there need to be a drastic change, and the UN need to democratize itself, which means one country, one vote, one value system. And the global organization must reflect the current realities, not only UN, but every global institution. The hegemony of the few nations should be discarded and democracy should prevail among them. Now, coming back to the Arunachal Pradesh news. The main issue at hand is why 2014 Arunachal Pradesh law is facing protest. The first question is that why is it news? Because the Arunachal Pradesh Unlawful Activities Prevention Act was challenged in the Guwahati High Court. What is this act? This act provides for more effective prevention of certain unlawful activity and individual and association. This gives certain draconian power and enables the state government to detain some categories of people. The detention of 6 months, if sufficient cause found, means that if the state government has found sufficient case, and it can detain the person up to 6 months. And that person can be detained to prevent them from acting in a manner which is prejudicial to the security of the state, maintenance of public order, maintenance of daily supplies and the service essential to the public. Can you recall the article in which these things are mentioned? This you have to tell me in the comment section. Why is this sudden attention? Because last month 41 people were booked under the act, and those detained were vocal about fair probe into the PSC paper leak matter, the Public Service Commission paper leak matter. After that, a call was issued for a 74-hour bandh in the various districts of the state. Again, this issue comes at hand that the bandh call by a political party, what is the constitutional status of this? you need to go and delve deep into this matter. Why this act is being opposed? First of all, act does not allow the detainee legal representation before the advisory body for deliberating their case, which is against Article 21. But again, this is not a watertight violation, because the second part of the Article 21, where preventive detention is given, we can deny legal representation. Second issue, officers can apply provisions of the Criminal Procedure Code by attaching the person's property also. And the students, they are demanding the repealing of the law. Getting the point? So this is the entire issue at hand. Let us see how this issue unfolds itself, and then we are going to discuss further if any changes comes in. Next, some economics news. Disinflation to be slow and long, said by the RBI governor. The RBI governor Shashikanta Das, at a summer bank meeting, he addressed and said that disinflation will be slow. No issues in that. Now, RBI has paused the repo rate increment. As we have seen that RBI was in a spree of increasing the policy rate, but now it has stopped so. Why? Because the increase in April and June was not a pivot and did not signal change in the policy direction. The inflation projection for the current financial year is to be lower, is to be 5.1%, which is within the tolerance limit as set by RBI, which is 4 plus minus 2%. The regulators cannot be oblivious, means that they cannot say that we don't know, cannot be oblivious to the growth concern given India's growing workforce. And the cumulative impact of the monetary policy decision over the last 1 year is still unfolding. And monetary policy transmission, we very well know, is not very smooth in India. So let us see what happens. But as of now, disinflation will be slow. Inflation is also within the tolerance limit. Next news, disbursement of 2.9 thousand crore under the 14th performance linked incentive scheme as set by DPIIT. DPIIT is a department under the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. The secretary of this particular department had said that in 8 sectors disbursing incentives, and in the remaining 6 we are very hopeful of disbursing the incentives. Central government has disbursed basically 29,000 crore under the PLI scheme. Getting the point? Center is expecting to receive significant amount of money as taxes. What are its implications? The implication of the taxes, that the coffers of the government will have sufficient revenue and the fiscal deficit may narrow down in the near future. Getting the point? Coming back to the next news, missings on frictions in the India-Canada ties. First of all, why in news? During the pro-Khalistan parade on June 4 in Brampton in Canada, the tableau which was shown there depicted a lady in a white sari which was bloodied with 2 soldiers training guns on her. This depicted India's former Prime Minister Indira Gandhi's assassination, and the board behind her head read "Revenge of the attack of Sri Darbar Sahib." Okay, now what is basically the Canadian politics related to it? Mr. Trudeau, the PM of the country, critically dependent on the New Democratic Party and Khalistan sympathizers. He asked to intervene in the events in Punjab, which is naturally unacceptable to the people of India. With India, the bilateral ties is passing through very difficult times, but still we are having an iota of cooperation, which is keeping the relationship afloat. One eye-catching is the cannabis medicine project. Okay, what is the Indian response? Mr. Jaishankar spoke out openly and forcefully on Canada. He said that hypocritical approaches on the human right issue, like the Western nation, they are taking a hypocritical stance. Its decade-long disdain for territorial integrity of India is the reason for this hypocritical approach. The Indian diplomats have obligation to point to the diaspora and others, which will have harmful implication for the people staying there. And we have to see that what implication it has on the overall India-Canada relationship. Okay. Now, we also have some Canadian politicians to support separatism in India, but which is completely unacceptable to the people of India in general and to the leaders in particular. Let us see what happens in this news in future, and we will get back to you. So this is it for today. We will meet tomorrow with the news analysis of 15th of June. Thank you very much.